Lori Noreen Cox, whose last name would eventually become Vallow, was born to Janice and Barry Cox on June 26, 1973. Alex and Adam, her brothers, Stacy, Laura, and Summer, her three sisters, made up her enormous family. Her early years were very typical, but let's fast forward to 1992. At 19, she married Nelson Yanes, her high school sweetheart, even though they were very much in love. Things started to go wrong approximately a year into the marriage, and the lovely love story ended in divorce. But Lori wouldn't remain single for long. 2 years later, in 1995, she married William and became a wife again. Things appeared to be stable and enduring. Even a son called Colby Ryan was born to the two. A pattern eventually became apparent, and in 1998, Lori divorced William. After another 3 years, Lori decided to get married a third time. In 2001, she and Joseph Ryan got married. On September 24, 2002, the couple gave birth to a child. She would have a daughter called Tylee this time. Since Lori filed for divorce in 2004, it appeared that the third time wasn't the charm. The two did not part ways amicably. Lori informed Alex that her ex-husband had been violent toward her. Alex then made threats toward Joseph and even tasered him. Her brother received a 90-day prison term and a 5-year probationary period due to his acts. Due to her attractiveness, Lori attracted a lot of suitors. She even took part in the 2004 Miss Texas beauty pageant. However, Lori was a free spirit, even though she periodically fell in love with some of them. She had a short temper and wouldn't tolerate anything that didn't go her way. The spouse almost always gets the short end of the stick in any quarrel because of their selfish attitude. She returned to being single by 2005, and although she had 2 children, only Tylee was under her full-time supervision. She would meet another man that year. Once more, Lori fell in love, but this time the case would have something to do with her new fiancé. Charles Vallow put in a lot of effort. He had a large, dearly loved family, and he was attractive. The two first met when he was 49, although he seemed younger and more active. He was born on August 17, 1956. The pattern reappeared, and on February 4, 2006, Lori had a 4th instance of wedding bells. Nicholas and Zachary were 2 of Charles's already existing children from a prior union. The married couple would have a family of 6 if you added Colby and Tylee, who were Lori's son and daughter, together. Things appeared to be going better this time. The household was content. Charles was able to provide for everyone because of his excellent income. Everyone appeared to be in decent shape overall. Joshua Jackson Vallow, also known as JJ, was Charles's grandnephew when the pair decided to adopt him in 2014. By then, all 3 boys had moved out, leaving Lori and her husband to care for Tylee and JJ. Lori wanted to try something new because she didn't work and was generally a person who got bored quickly. The 4-person family decided to migrate to Hawaii to launch their new enterprise. On Kauai, they started a juice bar called Juice Island in Princeville. Everyone appeared to be having a good time because Lori and her daughter posted lovely landscape photos of the location on social media. While residing there, a series of books captivated Lori. The group was known as Standing in Holy Places. Because of her background, she was already a devout Mormon, and the books would strengthen her convictions. She would alter her way of life and personality by reading them. The business failed despite the surroundings being as close to paradise as humanly conceivable. After a few years, they were forced to return to Arizona in late 2016. The Vallow family's situation started to deteriorate at this moment. The Chad Daybell book series, written by a religious author yet held much interest for Lori, and Melanie would go to a gathering called Preparing a People in 2018. She would eventually meet the writer of the novels that appeared to have altered her life and her perspective on the world.
Well, I was thinking, a lot of you probably have relatives or friends who are questioning why would they go to a preparedness conference. There's absolutely no reason to go. Anyway, I was thinking that you probably will want to have a message prepared for when you get back to your ward tomorrow or something, when they say, well, what did you hear? What did they tell you? And so I'm going to give a statement that you can share with them. Okay? And so what I see is from Brigham City to Santaquin, it's like a special plate of land that will never be destroyed. Nothing bad will ever happen in that stretch of land, and that the people will prosper.
As they spoke, it appeared that Chad liked Lori. He went so far as to convince her they had been married 7 times before. Even after the event, Lori and the religious author kept in touch by messaging. Charles left town on a business trip a few weeks after the incident. Lori used the opportunity to bring Chad Daybell over, but by no means was the gathering romantic. Lori also extended an invitation to Melanie and other supporters of Mr. Daybell. While discussing the deeper meaning of God and other theological doctrines and ideas throughout the evening, Chad couldn't take his eyes off the stunning new convert and frequently made her the center of attention. Chad Daybell was an odd man, and he had always been. He was raised in Provo, Utah, where he was born on August 11, 1968. He first encountered Tamara when he was a teenager. By the time they turned 22, the two were already married. 2 years later, in 1992, he earned his journalism degree. He didn't quite succeed when he was hired to dig graves in a nearby cemetery. He would continue working there until 2004 when he launched his own company. Chad founded Spring Creek Books, a publishing house. Half the many books he released were ones Lori had been fixated on. Chad had 5 kids with Tamara. They claimed God had instructed him to move the family to Rexburg, Idaho. He would have a unique perspective on the world. He would categorize everyone into one of 2 groups and refer to them as light or dark. He believed that those who were dark were from Earth, but adhered to Satan, while those who were light adhered to Jesus. Chad informed Lori that she was an eternal being who had experienced 21 previous incarnations, 5 of which had occurred on Earth. Not only did Lori accept the advice he gave her, but she also really welcomed it. This newly discovered purpose in life, and Chad both became obsessions for Lori. After everyone dispersed, Lori and Chad continued to text and email each other. He shared a chart with her in an email from 2018 that dealt with the light and dark categories. Finally, he assessed her family according to the statistics he gave. Let's jump ahead to 2019. The Vallow marriage was close to falling apart. Lori began to distance herself from daily life as she devoted more and more of her time to the religion that was fast turning into a cult. She was adamant about the existence of light and dark people and referred to the latter as zombies. Additionally, Lori continued to believe that she was an everlasting being and that God had chosen her to be the leader of the 144,000. This group was given special protection. Charles and Lori started quarreling every day. He spent almost a week away from home on a work trip on January 31st. But he hasn't been able to reach his wife or children for the past 2 days. His family members were still unable to be found when he got off the plane at the airport, and his truck, usually kept in the airport's parking lot, was also missing. When he returned home in a taxi, he was surprised to find that the door's locks had been changed. His belongings were in the garbage, and his account had been drained, losing close to $35,000 in total. Without any other options, he dialed 911 at this very moment. Police officers came without delay.
So what's going on tonight?
I can't get in touch with my kids.
How old are your kids?
6.5 and 16. Okay.
How long have you been trying?
2 days.
Okay.
But she's lost her mind. I don't know how else to say it. We're LDS. She thinks she's a resurrected being and a God, and remember the 144,000. Jesus is coming next year. She took all the money out of her bank account today. My truck has gone from the airport. She went to the airport and got it. I just flew in from Dallas. Houston and Dallas. So
where's your truck?
I don't know.
Okay.
A friend of mine's truck to pick me up. I went to the CSI, filed a report, which is the Community Bridges or something. Filed a report.
So you did the petition?
Yeah, they ordered pickup.
Okay. What time did you do that?
Hour and a half ago.
Okay. So what makes her a danger to herself and to others?
She threatened me, murder me, kill me.
She threatened to murder you?
Yes. And she said,
how did she do that?
My bishop right there is in the car. He was on the phone with me today, when she said, "I will have you destroyed." Is what she said there.
Okay, that's not a threat to kill you.
Yesterday was a threat to kill me.
Okay. What did she say yesterday?
She said, "You're not Charles. I don't know who you are, what you did with Charles, but I can murder you now with my powers."
Okay.
Okay. She says, I'm gonna kill you too. Yesterday was.
So she's speaking as a spiritual being.
She's not here. She's lost her reality.
Is this just all recent, or has it been going on?
It's been going on for about 4 or 5 years. It's gotten really, really bad lately. She goes to the temple every day and speaks with Moroni and Jesus Christ. And they tell her what to do. And now she came to her today, and last couple of days she says, "I'm not Charles. You're not Charles. You're Nick Schneider. I don't know where she gets these names from. She got all this stuff from these people in Utah who tell her how many past lives she's had and probation she's had. She's was married to Moroni way back when. And she was also married to James the Just. And
Okay, this is all foreign to me, so.
It's foreign to me.
Well, I'm not LDS.
It's crazy stuff.
I know you're using LDS terms here.
I know, but it's just she's.
Charles even informed the police that his wife had threatened him. Of course, no one was interested in him. Then Lori would go. Additionally, she would disappear for a total of 58 days. Charles started the divorce process during that time. It was later discovered that she had been to Hawaii with her daughter Tylee. And even after they returned, Lori avoided the rest of the family. But this was only the start of her heinous behavior. A call was made to the police on July 11, 2019. The man claimed to have killed a person. Alex Cox, Lori's older brother, was the culprit.
Yes. Paramedic?
Both. I'm in police and an ambulance.
What's the emergency there?
I got in a fight with my brother-in-law and I shot him in self-defense.
Okay, let me get the medics on the phone. And is he hurt or is he alive?
Yeah, there's blood. He's not moving.
How long ago did this happen?
A couple of minutes.
What's his name, your brother-in-law?
Charles Vallow.
And was he armed also, or just you? What happened there?
Yeah, he came at me with a bat.
He was married to your sister, she where she?
Correct. No, I think she's taking her son to school.
Well, you can see there. Let me know when they get inside. Is the front door open?
Yeah. It's unlocked.
Can you come out, walk outside with your hands
Sure.
empty? Are you able to do that with your hands
Sure.
up and empty?
Yeah. Yeah.
The front door, right?
The police showed up at Lori's new address a short while later. She'd only moved there a few days before. Alex and Tylee were inside the house, and Lori was dropping JJ off at school when the murder occurred. Charles appeared to arrive at the residence and start a fight with Lori's brother. Tylee left during their conversation to acquire a baseball bat and returned moments later. Before striking Alex in the back of the head, Charles pulled the object out of her grasp. Alex repeatedly shot the attacker in the chest after grabbing his weapon. Charles passed away in his living room, and the police had to search for his body for many minutes before discovering it. After the experience, some might have assumed they ought to have been absolutely startled, but Lori didn't feel that way. When questioned by the police, she even grinned and cracked a joke while remaining composed and acting like nothing had happened. But a few hours later, something unanticipated occurred. Lori threw a pool party after Charles passed away in her own home. When questioning Alex at the crime scene, the police officers picked up on his questionable remark. He insisted that Charles had hit him over the head with a baseball bat. Still, closer examination revealed that the wound was relatively minor, and that Charles, a semi-pro baseball player, would have been more than capable of causing significant harm, possibly even ending Alex's life with a single swing of the bat. Alex was released without question because the judge believed his account of events. Nicholas and Zachary would learn of their father's passing the next day. Instead of calling the boys, Lori chose to text them because she didn't want to deal with the hassle. Soon after the incident, Lori, JJ, and Tylee left Arizona. Naturally, she made their way to Rexburg, Idaho, where Chad resided. The three-person family made their home there, but the tale doesn't end there. She didn't enroll Tylee, but did enroll JJ at the start of September. She brought her 2 children and her brother Alex to Yellowstone National Park on September 8, 2019. They all appeared to be having a good time in the photos, but Tylee would never be seen again. Surprisingly, Lori didn't call the police when she disappeared. Additionally, no one noticed Tylee's departure since she had recently moved to a different state. The following day, JJ started school, and he looked to be adjusting well to his new group of youngsters. But on September 17th, 2 weeks later, video from a neighbor's doorbell camera showed him and a friend having fun in the area. And this would be the last time anyone would see JJ, just as it did for Tylee. Lori contacted her son's school on September 23rd to withdraw him from the program. Lori said she would homeschool him when the principal questioned why she would do that, adding that the conversation would end there. Tylee and JJ had both left. Over the coming months, the location of the 2 children gradually caused anxiety among friends and relatives. When Lori was questioned about JJ and Tylee, she said everything was well. She would make up an excuse that they were at a friend's house or visiting family if anyone asked to see them. During this period, 2 events took place. First, Lori rented a storage facility just outside of Rexburg. She was observed putting blankets, her children's things, and the bikes inside the apartment on October 1st, 2019. She was spotted again the next day, but she was with Chad Daybell this time. That month, Chad, Lori, and her brother Alex would make 9 trips to the storage facility. The second event took place on October 9th. Tamara, or Tammy, Chad's wife, was unloading her car's goods in the driveway. A paintball, gun-wielding individual in a mask approached the woman from behind. He began shooting at her as soon as she turned around to face him. Chad fled as Tamara yelled for her spouse, and he did the same. After that, she visited Facebook to post about what had occurred earlier. Tamara managed to escape the attack but was pronounced dead 10 days later. Her husband reported finding her dead in their bed and dialing 911. She passed away while she was asleep. Detectives were called to the scene, and after inspecting the circumstances, they determined that the death was natural. Chad Daybell, however, objected when asked if he would be fine with having his wife's body autopsied. Without further inquiry, the authorities were compelled to accept his rejection. Chad appeared to recover quickly from losing his wife because 2 weeks later, he and Lori would board a plane for Hawaii. The two would exchange vows in full white attire on the seashore there. Following this, the police and the media began watching the newlyweds since they thought many coincidences seemed suspicious. When questioned about their family and children throughout their honeymoon, the two began to tell everyone lies even after they returned home. Without further explanation, Lori would state that Tylee had passed away a few years prior. Chad would claim that Lori never had any children. The police decided to check on JJ's welfare on November 26th. She said he wasn't there when they went to Lori's house to ask to see him. According to her account, the youngster stayed with her friend Melanie in Arizona. They collaborated with the Arizona Police Department right away and got active. Melanie appeared astonished when she was confronted. Although the woman claimed to have not seen JJ in days, what she said afterward had the cops on high alert. Melanie informed them that she had gotten a call before the police arrived at her home. She received a call from Lori and Chad asking if she would lie to them and claim that JJ was with her. They went to Lori's house the following day with a search warrant, but they weren't there. The pair left for Hawaii once more. The 2 children were reported missing by the police from December 2019 to January 2020. Chad's home was searched, and his cell phones, journals, and laptops were removed. In addition, the police department warned Lori that she risked being detained if she didn't bring JJ and Tylee to the station within 5 days. During this investigation, on December 12th, Lori's brother Alex passed away unexpectedly. His body allegedly had blood clots and natural causes were declared to cause his death. Lori was ultimately detained because she neglected to bring the kids to the police station. The incident took place on February 20th, 2020. She was transported to Rexburg, where she remained detained after the bond was $5 million. Even though Lori was in jail, nobody knew where the children were or what had happened to them. On June 9th, 2020, at 7 in the morning, Rexburg police arrived at Chad's door after 4 hard months. They obtained a search warrant for his 4-acre home in the 1960s. The investigators spent a few hours there. Before long, they discovered human remains buried nearby in his red barn. The remains were initially thought to be unidentified. Still, a day later, it was determined that JJ and Tylee's DNA was present in them. Although the kids were finally located, not all their friends and relatives favored it. The other families were in disbelief. Sadly, despite their best intentions, the two were in trouble.
I just want to give you my condolences.
Yes,
I am so terribly sorry.
I'm so sorry. I watched the whole process yesterday, and it's heartbreaking what's happened to us.
And y'all don't deserve this.
Oh,
No,
neither do you.
Well, I'm just saying, this neighborhood.
I mean,
and-
really,
and
you've
the
lost
people
your
of Rexburg,
grandchildren. I can't imagine.
You know, it's not about us.
No, it isn't.
It's about them. This has torn up so many people. It's destroyed people. It's torn up whole homes. And there's no need for this. And I just want you to know I came here for one reason. That's to see where I'm not worried about the people that are responsible for this. The judicial system will take care of it. And anybody else that was involved and needs to be a part of it. But at this point, my job is not hatred. My job is to come here and do what I can do to mend fences. JJ was here right now. Oh, he'd be running up and down this road.
Chad Daybell attempted to flee at 11 a.m. on the day of the discovery. Still, the police swiftly caught up with him and took him into custody. Before being tackled and held in handcuffs, he had only been able to run 1 mile away from his farm. He was accused of hiding evidence and tampering with it. Their trial was scheduled for 2023, but they both remained behind bars. Several witnesses claim that Lori began referring to her kids as zombies after they vanished.